That's my why. Just because, you don't know how long you have on this world, and you might as well do what you can do while you can do it.
Today's episode of the RV Voice is brought to you by Bish Fix. Ever been stuck with an RV issue miles from the nearest service center? With Bish Fix, expert help is just a video call away, saving you time, money, and keeping you on the road. Try Bish Fix risk-free with a 14-day free trial and use promo code RVVoice at checkout to get 60% off the full retail price. Okay. Welcome to another episode of the RV Voice. Today we have another full-time guest, and they're in something that I've never seen before personally, but I've always wanted to. They're in a beacon. If you guys know who it is, I'll let you guess for a minute because I have to talk about something else real quick. I have a question for you guys. If you had an RV problem and you were miles from an RV service center or an RV tech for that matter, and you could flip a coin and it would possibly 50-50 chance that you would get that fixed through a video call the day of or the next day, would you do it? Well, if you said yes to this, then I have a surprise deal for you guys because Bish Fix is our internal service platform. Basically what this is it gives you access to tenured, mastered RV technicians. You give them a call, they're going to set you up with one of these guys, and they're going to walk you through your issue. If they can't walk you through your issue, by the end of the phone call, they're going to have parts ordered and warranty done, and you guys get to keep your camper, get to keep out camping, do whatever you want with your family, and then you bring it in, schedule it with them, bring it in to get it fixed 1 to 3 days, maybe more if so facto, but if not, they're going to have a full report of findings. You can talk to a mobile RV tech. And today, we're actually talking to a mobile RV tech. But if you want to get that Bish Fix discount, use promo code RVVoice or just scan that, and that'll bring you right to the page to get that discount. So that being said, we are talking to two full-timers. They started about 3 years ago, Brian and Teresa Villa. Brian was in the Air Force for a long time, and they decided a couple of years ago, 3 years ago about, to go full-time on the road in a beacon. So, welcome, Brian and Teresa. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We've been kind of going back and forth for a little bit while. And I'm sorry, I talked to so many people. I try to get everybody on here. I want to talk to them all. But I'm really excited that you guys are here because you're, from what I see, a mobile RV tech, Brian. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, we started our own business in January. So now we're traveling and just working wherever we're parked.
Interesting. So we're gonna dive into that. And Teresa, what do you do?
Well, I'm just a stay-at-home wife, I guess, and I do our social media, of course. So.
Absolutely. And you guys have been killing it. And did you guys start that 3 years ago, to date?
No, about 2 years ago we started it, but I didn't know anything about social media. And then finally, at the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, I'm going to get serious about it, and it kind of just took off.
Well, you've done a wonderful job, and you built your Instagram page to a great following, and that's why we're talking today. So, all righty. So that being said, let's kind of dive into this. You guys decided to do this about 3 years ago, and I'm kind of curious what kind of brought you upon this personal journey. What inspired you to transition full time, and then can you share how you got into this? Because you had it sounds like you had a travel trailer at one point in time, a high-low, you said, and you enjoyed it so much that you're like, you know what, I'm going to do this full time. So kind of walk us through that whole story.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she actually talked me into it. I wasn't on board.
It always seems to be that way.
I didn't think we could live in an RV. We got the bug with the high-low, and then this was during COVID. And then we decided, once we decided, we want to go full time, we decided to sell the high-low and just start saving and downsizing, knowing what we were moving into, going from 3,600 square feet to 400 square feet.
Yeah.
So we started the process about 4 years ago. We started the process and then pulled the trigger about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's it. So how did you go about choosing your first RV then? Because, you kind of went, you had your high-low, but you kind of went to the top of the line with the beacon. I've been wanting to see one of these things for years. I didn't even get to see one I went to open house for, basically it's all the dealers and manufacturers, but I didn't even get to see one there. Quite frankly, I don't even know where beacon's even built. So how'd you go about choosing a beacon?
So we lived in DC, and we went and visited the Hershey RV show.
Oh.
And at the time, we thought we wanted a Class A, and we had heard about Tiffin. We didn't really know a lot about our Class A. So Unfortunately, we made the mistake of going and looking at the most expensive Class A's first.
It happens. I get it.
After that, you can't go back down, you know. But we realized when we were there, they had actually just came out with their fifth wheel line. And that's when we were like, wait a minute, maybe we want a fifth wheel instead of a Class A. And so we kind of never really went away from the Van Lee Tiffin family. We kind of were like, we liked the quality of the build. We liked the fact that it was a family-owned business, been run for so many years. We met Bob Tiffin, and we were just very impressed with him and their customer service and the quality. So we just kind of, from the very first time we saw one of the Tiffin fifth wheels, we knew that's what we wanted.
But then after doing some research, we realized they were one of the best out there for after-sales support. So after doing researching the other brands, if you had issues, everyone said Tiffin would take care of you.
Yes.
And they truly did. When they were in business, they truly took care of us.
Van Lee. Yeah.
When they were still making the beacons. If we had any issue, we'd call them up and they would walk us through anything we needed.
Okay, so what does that look like now, since they're recently not in
Well, they agreed to honor all warranties. So like most of these fifth wheels come with a 1 year bumper to bumper and then a 3-year frame warranty. So we are obviously out of our 1 year warranty, and we just used up our 3-year warranty. We had some issues, and it was actually the last week before our 3-year warranty expired, and they covered the whole bill to get it repaired. It was a pretty big repair. So, and when you're within your 1 year warranty, if I needed a mobile tech, I would just call a mobile tech out, pay the mobile tech, and then send Tiffin or Van Lee to bill. And within 3 to 5 days, I was reimbursed.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And they they took really good care of us.
Yes.
Yeah, they're no joke of a company. I mean, you look at any of their like high-end Tiffins. I mean, you walk into it, it's typically nicer than most houses that you see. You know.
Yeah, they're nice. And just to answer your question, the Van Lees were built in Burnsville, Mississippi, which is just pretty much across the border from Red Bay, where the Tiffins are built.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know they were in the southern area. I did not know that.
Yeah, they're one of the few companies that's outside of Indiana.
Yep.
Yeah, and then like a couple in the West Coast, you know, like Airstreams out there and stuff like that, Lance and Northwoods. Yeah, which is strange. Who knew? I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Nebraska, and like I had no idea that like RVs were sold at dealerships until I started at one. And even though I lived like 3 blocks from one, I had no idea. Like it just over my head didn't even register, and then all of a sudden it's a giant community, a giant industry. I had no idea. So that's interesting, but cool. They're made in Mississippi, and I guess what was the other place across the river?
Alabama.
Red Bay. Oh, okay.
They still service them. Like if you have issues, you can go to either Mississippi. There's a service shop, or Red Bay that will work just on your Van Lee or your Tiffin.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So cool. Well, yeah. I mean, you picked a good one. You know.
We've been happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna pause real quick here. Sorry, it sounds like there's like a humming. It keeps going woo, and then it stops.
I just let me turn the AC off, and maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
The compressor was kicking in.
All right.
We had nice fall weather, and then all of a sudden, summer.
Whereabouts are you right now?
Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. I don't know if you can still hear it or not. We still have one of the air conditioners on.
Is that better?
I'm going to listen here for a second. It was like every 5 seconds or so. Nope, I think we're good.
Okay. That was probably that one. Yeah.
Okay, well, sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to make sure it's all good quality for both sides of the story. So about 8:30 to 9. So I'm going to be writing stuff down. I'm not ignoring you. I'm listening. I've actually gotten called out on that before, and I'm like, guys, no, I'm writing stuff down. It makes my life so much easier. So, all right. So, yeah. Well, yeah. Someone and the comment disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. So, alrighty, let's go on to the next question here, guys. So sorry about that. We had a little break because we had some background noise. But preparation and planning. So you guys, like you said, you had a high-low at one point in time, and you kind of got into the whole like camping thing, and you wanted to get into that. But like, what steps did you take to prepare to go full time? Because it's a totally different animal, right? Not just weekend hopping, doing 6 trips a year or so. But you kind of talked about how you chose your first RV, so we don't have to get into that. But what would you give for advice What advice would you give someone that's trying to get into their first RV for full timing?
Well, we spent a lot of time watching YouTubers.
Yeah.
And if I listed off some YouTubers, I'm sure you probably know them, that we watched religiously every week, trying to learn as much as we could. And then just going to the Hershey RV show, we would attend every year. We attended, 3 years in a row?
3 years before we purchased.
3 years, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Verify 100% we knew what we wanted.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we would attend seminars there, which we think Hershey has some great seminars on towing and picking the right RV for you. And I mean, they really do a good job at their seminars up there. And I think that was kind of, and then just because we had the high-low, we were camping. So occasionally we would go, if we were out camping, we would just talk to other RVers and find out from them, right, what they liked and what they didn't like. And I think we just did a lot of research.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's big.
Never did in high school.
Yeah. High school, I hate it. Oh, God. It's a lot better when you're kind of actually interested in something, right?
Right.
Specifically history class or like government class, I was sleeping. I was like, I couldn't stay awake.
Yeah.
Math and science, I was great, but no big deal. But anyway, so you brought up a good point, like towing. Towing's a huge thing that a lot of people, especially outside of the industry, have no idea. I mean, I'm from the country where my truck can tow it. That's not a real thing. You got to be careful with that, because especially you guys hopped into, you had the high-low, so you did a little bit of towing, so you have the background there. But jumping into a fifth wheel, I mean, you're getting into probably a bigger truck. You probably have a 3/4 ton or a 1 ton. And that's no joke for most people to get into. And they're like, well, if I'm going to downsize from a house into a fifth wheel, I got to get the biggest and baddest, right?
Right.
Not everybody does have to have that.
You get the truck, and your truck is still not big enough for these things.
Yeah.
We went from a Toyota Tacoma to the Ram 3500 dually, and to be honest with you, we are right at our max weight on the Ram 3500 dually. So we could not go any smaller, or we would be over our weight limit on the truck.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's kind of hard. And if anyone listening to this has any questions about towing, I actually talked to Josh, the RV nerd, and JD from Big Truck, Big RV. JD knows his stuff. Josh has been in the industry for a long time as well. We kind of really break that down. So anybody watching, I'll plug that in here in the description. But anyway, so you guys had, you prepped. I mean, you planned a lot different than most people. A lot of people, they're like, you know what, we should do this. That I've talked to, and like within weeks, within weeks, they sold their house. People have taken stuff out of their house, and like they're gone on the road in a month.
Right.
They've never even been around an RV or driven a 3/4 ton pickup, let alone a 40-foot fifth wheel behind them. So you guys did it the correct way. This is the first time I've talked to someone that's done it correctly. So thumbs up to you guys. I think I get a thumbs up bubble here. Where's that? It doesn't do it. All right. Sometimes it does like a bubble, like
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, since you guys, it sounds like you hopped around with the Air Force a little bit. So thank you for your service. I appreciate that. So you kind of were used to the nomadic-ish lifestyle.
Right.
But your daily lives and routines have probably changed a little bit since. So you're retired, you're a vet now, right?
I'm a retired vet, yeah. I retired from the Air Force, and then I had another job in sales for the first 2 years that we were on the road in the RV.
Oh, okay.
So my job, I was working from home pre-COVID. I was already working from home. So part of having the RV this size was something big enough to have a home office, because I knew I was going to have still the 9-to-5 job in the office. So for the first 2 years, that's what we did.
Okay. So I mean, what were you selling, by the way?
I'm sorry?
What were you
selling? Actual audiovisual equipment to the government.
Oh, well, hey.
Going in the government, I was selling back to the government.
Works out. I heard they have great benefits. I've never had a government job myself. But anyway, so let's talk about your typical daily life, because what's it look like now versus what you had before? Because, you go and downsize into a fifth wheel. So what's daily life routine look like for you guys? Washing clothes, washing dishes, cleaning, all that, cooking. What do you do for travel? Like, what does all that look like to you guys?
Well, I would say my daily life really hasn't changed a whole lot, minus the social media part that I do. I film a lot of stuff now.
Oh yeah,
all my stuff that
always.
I used to do, I'm always filming it now.
Yeah.
I'm always like, wait, I gotta set up the tripod. Who cares? But whatever.
I get it.
But we do not have a washer and dryer in the rig.
Okay.
We opted not to get that. So I do have to go to the laundromat. But because he used to work from the RV full time, it worked me out of the RV while he was on calls and stuff like that. But everything else for me has stayed the same. His has changed a little bit now, especially now that he's a mobile RV tech.
It's changed, but we've also gotten our weekends back. In a house, we would spend all day Saturday and part of Sunday taking care of the yard and the cars and maintenance. And so there's a lot less of that living in an RV. As far as your job, we still, being an RV tech, there's days when I'm extremely busy, then there's days when it's not so busy. So that's when you do online classes and, you know, just play catch up on paperwork and stuff like that. So as far as working, we're still working. We still do Monday through up as an RV tech. It's 7 days a week. I really don't take a day off because most people's RVs break at night and weekends.
That's when most people use them is the weekends. Yeah. So
exactly.
You got to be prepared.
Right. So that part hasn't changed, but I'd say we don't miss a house and the daily chores of a house. Compared, RV has work. Don't get me wrong. There's work and maintenance you have to do, but it's not near as much upkeep as a house.
Yeah, RVs are maintenance. I wish there was like a better word for it, you know. But it is. It's truthfully, you got to make sure everything's working. They go down the road. I've said this a million times. Hurricane force speeds, earthquakes every time.
Exactly.
Problems are going to arise. So it sounds like it's pretty similar. I mean, the full RV tech thing, I'm kind of curious on that. So like what kind of made you decide to do that?
Well, we had always kind of talked about it because I love upgrading our RV and doing projects and stuff. And we finally decided, hey, we called a tech out 4 or 5 times and we seen what we were paying those techs. And sometimes it was really hard to find a tech. It was very rare that we were in a park and there was a tech parked next to us. I mean, most of the time we have to really hunt one down. So we had talked about it for a while, and then we decided, okay, now it's time. So we decided to go to school for the 7 weeks, get certified, and and then start just doing this full time as a tech, and no regrets.
And no regrets, yeah. So a question for you, I guess, more on that. Did you? Do you really? Do you stay kind of within the parks? I mean, do you guys stay in there, and then like, do you get people within the parks a lot, or are you bouncing around through the area?
Business is within the park. They see the signage on our truck.
Hey.
We put a little sign in the front yard if the park allows, and then we'll have flyers around the park. And a lot of times is people walking around the park and they see your truck and, oh, I got this project I've been putting off. Oh, my landing gear won't go in or something. So they'll find me knowing I'm in the park. And then I also get a lot of calls from warranty companies. Mm-hmm. They'll look me up on the National Tech Locator. They'll say, hey, I'm in Washington, D.C. Where's the closest tech? And they'll find me and call me and say, hey, can you go handle this job or this job?
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good way to, like, because I talk to a lot of people that do work camp. A lot of people do work camping, which is a great way to make money on the road. But this is, living in an RV, if you have any background within, HVAC, plumbing, whatever it may be, electrical, one, that helps. But two, going to school for it, that's a great way to make money on the road, especially if that's what you guys do more like Thousand Trails campgrounds and stuff like that. So you're kind of staying in, or do you boondock a lot?
We don't boondock. We're not boondockers. If you do the research on the RVs, our particular RV, as nice as it is not designed to boondock because we can't travel with water.
Okay.
We could if we wanted to go over our weight limit, but we prefer to stay under the legal weight limit of the RV. So we don't travel with water. So our extent of boondocking is a one-night harvest hose as we're traveling from one location to another, where we can, minimum water just to do the necessities and call it good.
And
it makes sense.
Honestly, our rig is not really meant to go off the roads. Like this rig it's not intended for. And actually, most RVs are not, unless they have off-road tires.
Right.
But and a lot of boondocking locations are very off-road.
Yeah, we're 64 feet total in length, so we try to keep it, try to stay in parks. She does a really good job researching the parks to make sure they can accommodate us with the truck, the RV, and she also follows in the car as well. So we need, you know, extra parking. And
oh, nice.
We stay at a lot of military bases too. Most military bases will have a fam camp, which is we're at a fam camp now.
Right now.
And so we'll stay there, which is actually really good for a tech because it's hard to get non-military people onto the base to work on your rig. So being military and on the base, it's a bonus.
This guy, you guys figured it out. Cornered the market. Speaking of which, this is their website. Check them out if you're. Depending where you are, I have no idea where you're at. You said you're down. You're on the eastern side of the states right now.
Just south of DC right now. Yep.
Are you guys kind of planning on staying on the eastern side?
No.
No.
We're visiting our son and his wife. So we're leaving and headed down to Florida for the winter.
Oh, yeah, like everybody else, I know a couple people that are already down there, but I would love to be in Florida, you know. But I'm also a winter guy, so I like skiing and snow and hunting. Snow, right? Yeah. So, I mean, if I had to choose one, I'd choose a foot of snow all year round. But I do like the beaches just like anybody else. So, but awesome. So this kind of rolls into the next thing. So challenges and solutions, it's changed a little bit, you know, obviously from the daily life and routine, but like what other challenges do you have? So you go about maintenance your own way. So I can't even talk about service and maintenance right now. But we can a little bit if we want to. But what are some of the biggest challenges you face while living in an RV, and how did you overcome them just in general? Because it's not a house no more. It's a little different.
Right. As far as maintenance, like you said, we do most of our own maintenance. To me, the biggest, if I had to say a challenge, I love having a clean vehicle. Most RV parks don't let you wash your rig. And when you got 44 feet of full body paint, having a dirty rig just drives me crazy. So finding products you can use where you don't have to use water, and that's hard to do, keeping the rig clean. But as far as other challenges, there's really not a lot we've come across.
No.
I mean, in the beginning, I'm not going to lie, the first year when we would get to a stop and something was broke, or this entertainment center fell off the wall, or you got this plumbing leak, or this leaf spring broke, or these axles slipped, we started questioning our decision at first. And then once we got through those bugs and learned to kind of roll with the punches and be flexible, we really enjoyed it. But it can be frustrating if you're expecting nothing to never go wrong. Then you're in for it's going to be frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's again, like I told you, I mean, it's not an if, it's when. It's going to happen, you know. You put your house on wheels, like an actual home, it would not even come close to making it 10 miles. There's no way.
Exactly, right. And most people, if you go into the lifestyle realizing there's going to be things that happen, you're going to be fine. But if you think it's going to be like a brand new car that's just going to run for forever and you not have to do anything to it, you're going to be in for a world of hurt.
It's not sunshines and rainbows when it comes to RVs, you know.
No.
Right. And Brian has always said, and now as a mobile tech, he sees it. It doesn't matter if you pay $1 million for an RV or you pay $30,000 for an RV. They all have issues. So it's not like, oh, well, I wish I'd bought a Prevost. They all have issues.
Granted, some are built better than others.
Yes.
But
Correct.
they all have some of the same issues.
Yes. They all
Correct.
still have water leaks. They still
Electrical problems.
Yeah. It's a house going down the road with it, and you're having an earthquake every time. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I sold that way, like literally. And they're like, well, which one has the least amount of problems? I'm like, hey, guys, they all got issues. Like it's just how it is. I mean, we've had
part of it. It's part of it.
Mm-hmm. I've had people coming in like on their day of the delivery to pick it up, and the converter blows on it. Like as they're inside of it, like, well, it happens. You know.
I mean, it's just everything. Every
all
part is
all the electronics are bouncing up and down, and then these manufacturers, they'll put all your heavy electronics directly underneath your water manifold system, and you spring a leak. Next thing you know, you got water all in your. So it's just you got to be prepared.
Yeah, so it sounds like you guys have kind of rolled with the punches or rolled with the changes, as REO Speedwagon would say, right? And I actually just saw them, so that's why I said that. Okay. Yeah, I'm an old soul. I was born in the wrong times, but it's okay. But Teresa, is there anything like challenges and solutions? I mean, you're social, you do content creation, so that's like, you said earlier, you got to take your tripod everywhere. That's I do this for a living too, so it's like. It's a pain in the butt, but like, what other challenges have you seen? Like, with the content creation, that's an interesting question. I've never really asked that.
For me, I think it's just I get a little discouraged when you put a lot of work into something and then it doesn't get received. You're like so. And you know what? It's not necessarily your followers. Sometimes it's just the gram.
Yeah, isn't that right? I mean, I do the same thing too. Like I've had, you have something that you put 3 minutes into, takes off. You have something you put like 3 hours into, like this is just so awesome. It's perfect. It makes the most sense. 2 views. Like
and it gets very frustrating, but honestly, at the same time, I do enjoy it, because if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't keep doing it. I just would be like, forget it. And I'll get frustrated, and he'll be like, you don't have to do it. And I'm like, but I like it. So I just keep doing it. And I think a little bit of it too is that I'm very competitive, and I'm competitive with myself. So I'm always trying to outdo myself.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah, I'm an ex-athlete, played college, and I can't stop. And my body's like giving out. I've had 3 knee surgeries, my shoulder's shot. Like I can't stop. I got play volleyball, play softball. I've given up softball. It's done, no more. But yeah, I totally understand that. But any other challenges you guys have had since you guys have been on the road?
I think just for just being away from our families, at least our sons. They both got married the year we hit the road.
Oh, wow.
And started their own lives and everything. So it's just kind of, sometimes it's a challenge because we miss them and we're not here for everything for them and their lives. But it'll change when they start giving us grandbabies. We'll be around more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How old are your sons?
We have one that's almost 28 and 25.
Very nice. Very nice. Cool. Well, that would bring us to the next question then. So I'm going to kind of jump. I'm going to skip one. We're going to come back to it. Okay. But community connection. So you're talking about family, right? So how do you really stay connected? Obviously we have phones. We got these things, right? But how do you do that like while on the road? Because you kind of hop around. I'm guessing you've been in the 3 years, you've kind of gone a whole circle around the U.S. at least once. Yes. But how do you have you found a sense of community within the RV world as well? And because everyone that I've talked to seems to know everybody that I've talked to, at least some way, somehow. Obviously, Instagram is a huge community, but like when you show up, I've heard a lot of these people show up and they're actually with each other. They like park near each other. But have you guys found a sense of community within the RV community itself?
I think yes and no. We don't travel with other people because we have our own travel style, and we stay longer in places, and we actually enjoy that. We don't like to be on the go constantly, but we do have a really close community down in Florida, our snowbirds that we're actually looking forward to seeing. We have brunch during the week, and we have bingo, and we play, we just do stuff together as snowbirds. So it's kind of fun. And, we keep up during the year. And then there's been people that we've met, and then when we do see them, it's, we just pick right back up where we left off. So it's really nice.
Occasionally we'll run into them in the park, and we'll be camping with each other for 2 or 3 weeks, and then off to the next location. Yeah. Oh, I remember you from this last park. And
yeah.
So it kind of goes full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that for a couple of people. It's like, everyone has their circle, right? I got this. These are my people. I don't need more. Not that I don't want to talk to you, or not that I want you in, but you don't have to exchange numbers, because you're going to be right. I'm going to probably end up bumping into you, and it's great. I'm glad to have a beer with you again. No big deal. But right. It's not like you need to keep up with let's try and meet up. You're on your own path. We're doing this, we're doing that. If we meet up again, it'd be wonderful to see you again. But it's what it is if we don't, right? Does that seem like kind of how it is for you guys?
Yeah.
For us, anyway. I mean, and I know there's people out there that love to travel with other caravans, families, and stuff like that. But we just don't. I mean, we just don't do that yet. Maybe we'll meet somebody that we really do want to travel with. I mean, I still want to do Alaska, and I kind of want to do that with some other couples. I don't know why. I feel like I need for security. I don't know.
Interesting. There's bears up there.
I don't know why, but I just feel like if we do it, we should do it with a bunch of people. But anyway, so yeah, anybody wants to go to Alaska?
Yeah. Right here. Let's see. You can contact them right here. They want to go to Alaska. If you want to go, hit them up. Alaska's wonderful. If you need any recommendations, let me know. I got a buddy who lives in Alaska. I've been there like 3 or 4 times in the last couple of years. So it's a wonderful place. Yeah. Anyway, so we skipped one, financial aspects. You guys kind of do your own thing, and I'm going to pop this up here because you do this. You have an Amazon page. I'm guessing you've gained some revenue from that as well with your content creation and all that. And you also do the mobile RV tech thing as well. But like, how did that kind of all start? Because obviously you're watching Instagram. You're seeing these guys make people link trees, whatever it may be, tagging this product, getting deals with this product and that and the other. But you did sales, you said, Brian, and then you moved into the RV tech. I guess, like, how does it all, I mean, how does it make it sustainable for you guys? Being an RV tech in an RV park, I mean, obviously, what better place to be? But what budgeting advice, I guess, on top of that, would you guys tell someone that's getting into their full-time RV life? A lot of question there.
One, prepare, know what you're getting yourself into. Reach out to other RVers, try to see what it costs. We keep a lot of spreadsheets because people say, well, how much you spend on average per night on night campgrounds, how much you spend on fuel, propane. So do your homework, see what people are spending so you kind of know what you're getting into, because it's not going to be, you can RV really cheap. You can RV really expensive as well. It just depends on where you're staying, how long you're staying, what your lifestyle is. So we did a lot of homework on that to kind of know what our budget needed to be. And then that way we can kind of live within our means.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, like you said, you guys don't boondock, so you don't save money that way. But you guys have coast to coast or 1,000 trails.
We have we kind of Passport America, Good Sam, but really, honestly, the way we save money is by staying at military fam camps throughout the year. We can, for instance, in Florida where we stay, we only spend $28 a night. But where we're at right now in Virginia, at a military fam camp, it's $60 a night. So it kind of balances out. Averages out. But I would say for us, our main thing was that we worked very hard to get out of debt before we hit the road. And we paid for our RV and our truck with the sale of our house. So we're debt free. And that was a huge thing for us. We didn't want that burden of that truck payment or the RV payment hanging over our head. And Brian is retired Air Force, so he does get a retirement. So we do, we have the, a little bit of income every month that we know we get. And then the mobile RV business is. Yeah, and
then Amazon is a little bit from Amazon. And
then, Absolutely. Yeah.
It's enough to let us shop.
Yeah. We can get it back.
It's a rotating circle. It works out. I'm so glad I have Amazon, man. I hate going shopping. It's the worst. I went to JCPenney. I went to JCPenney the other day. It was like a ghost town. There was nobody there. I mean, I walked. I couldn't find the changing room. I had no idea where it was. I find it, and then no one's there. Like usually, there's someone like manning it. I could have walked out with 7 pairs of jeans. They would have had no idea.
It's just so convenient. Amazon just have everything delivered right to your door, and then if you don't want it, ship it back. So. All
right. Well, real quick question for that: how does that work for you guys? Because shipping is weird. Like say you order something, how does that work?
So we have a mail service in Florida. Okay. So if we are somewhere and we need something delivered, we can just have it shipped there. And then they'll hold it for us. And then when we get somewhere that we can get mail packages, then we will have that shipped to us. Most campgrounds nowadays, though, are pretty good about allowing Amazon packages. They realize, RVers are on the road, living out of their RVs, and they need stuff. So I think there's only been a handful of campgrounds that we've encountered that they've not allowed.
And there's packages. Amazon lockers almost everywhere you go, too. So Amazon you can have it shipped to a nearby locker. We've never had an issue not getting a package.
No.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never asked that question. As I go on, as I talk to more people, more questions pop up. But I can only ask so many. I only get everybody's so finite time. I don't want to take everyone's time, but there's a lot of interesting stuff because I too want to go full time at some point in time.
Okay.
I'm trying to flip an old GMC Safari van. Everyone calls it a creeper van. I'm like, no, I like my van. Y'all be nice.
Okay,
but
cool.
I could be a bum. Like it's no big deal for me. But like for stuff like that, I'd have to know how to do that. And then budgeting wise, I'd be boondocking everywhere. So, but interesting, very interesting. So
now if you're boondocking, I don't know how you're going to get your packages. I mean, unless you're close to a city that has Amazon lockers, that could be an issue. I do know a lot of people use UPS for packages. You can go in and pay like a monthly, right? Monthly
you pay a monthly thing or pay by the package to pick up.
Yes, pay by the package to pick up through UPS, and that's pretty good. So
like UPS stores, like you just ship it right to the store.
Yeah, the UPS stores.
Oh, I did not know that. That.
And we've done it where, like, when we're in Florida, we actually just go open up a temporary P.O. box. And that way there's a post office nearby. And that way if we want to order something big and bulk, we can just have everything shipped directly to the post office.
Yeah, see, I've heard that before. Actually, the first time I heard that is reading Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. That's what he used to do. He lived in one for 5 years. Lived in an Airstream for 5 years, just traveling across the country. Oh, wow. And he had a P.O. box in either Colorado or somewhere. But I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. But that was a time for mail.
To get a 6-month P.O. box or a 3-month P.O. box.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. So doing this 3 years now, right? Ish. What are some of your favorite experiences that you've had? So like, what are some favorite places, whether it be, east, west, north, south, wherever it may be, but also what is like an unexpected benefit that you guys have come across since you went full time?
Okay. Favorite place was Montana.
Beautiful.
So far.
For both of us. Yeah.
Yeah. We loved Glacier National Park. Well, just everywhere we were at. Montana wasn't just Glacier, but Glacier was definitely our favorite. But I think the best experience we had though was actually in Idaho.
That was our biggest surprise. We weren't expecting Idaho to be as nice as it is.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I didn't know that.
Shout out to Idaho.
Yeah.
Woo! We're in Meridian, which is basically Boise. But if you tell that to someone that's from Meridian and Boise, they get all angry. And it's Boise.
We haven't made it up there yet of Idaho, but we loved Idaho. Yeah. The part we were in. We spent a whole day off-roading through the mountains. I mean, that was so cool. I had no idea Idaho was that beautiful. So
don't tell anybody. It's a secret. Yeah, it's getting out. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's same like Montana. Same thing's getting out. It's
anywhere out west is just gorgeous. Montana, Idaho, Colorado. I mean, we've had a good time out west.
We like the mountains. So
incredible. Yeah.
It's anytime incredible. We can see the mountains, we're all for that. And as far as the benefit, the unexpected benefit, I would say that I don't know if you agree with me on this, but the unexpected benefit is, I think, that being able to see people that we don't normally get to see. Like we get to certain states and like friends that we haven't seen in decades are there, and they'll find out we're there and they'll be like, hey, we're only an hour away, and we get to, it's so cool to be able to reconnect with people having, been in the military for 20 years. A lot of these people we haven't seen for 20 years, almost 30 years. So that's really been cool, is being able to connect with people like that. And I don't know that I just didn't even think about that when I hit the road. When we hit the road, it was all about what was I going to see, what was I going to get to experience, not really necessarily who was I going to get to see.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool. I actually never heard that. I've heard a lot of a lot of people usually have. You guys are one of two people that I've talked to. One of two families that I've talked to that are just like empty nesters, right? I just recently talked to the Nomad Nesters, Katie and Vern, wonderful people. If you ever never met them, but they, like everyone else has said, that it's brought them closer because you can't get away from each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's
24/7.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
I would say that that's definitely it definitely has. I mean, we were already pretty close because he worked from home already before we hit the road.
Right.
So we were already pretty much doing everything together anyway. So that kind of, it just now we're in a little bit smaller area doing it. But yeah, I think it definitely probably has strengthened it even more. But yeah, so it's definitely a plus. If you can't stand each other in 3,600 square feet, you definitely aren't going to like each other in 400 square feet. So love your spouse before you.
yeah, it might end quicker.
Yes. Or tragically.
Those RVs go up for sale pretty quick.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's kind of the next thing here. That's awesome. I love Idaho, love all that Montana. I'm glad it's the idea of getting to see people more. That's huge. I mean, for me, I'm a huge traveler, wanderlust and all that. I've seen everybody that's moved out, all my friends that have moved out of state that I've been close with, I've gone and seen them. And now I moved out of state. Now people are coming to see me. Like I got 2 buddies coming in tonight. So pretty excited about that. So yeah. So advice for beginners though. So you guys are a little different. When I say that is like you guys prepared well better than everybody else that I've talked to. Not even close. No one's even close to what you guys have done. But if you were to talk, like knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself 3 years ago about RV life? Like, here's things you have to know before you start this. And then are there any common misconception of RV living that you would like to address? Because I'm curious.
I think one, prepare, do your homework, go to a lot of RV shows. Like we did the social media thing and we followed a lot of RVers. It would have been nice to try to actually personally connect with an RVer and talk to them. Because there's a lot of things, oh, the RVer has it, let's buy that. Or that's what he uses for internet, let's buy that. That's what he uses for this, buy that. And we did a lot of that. We bought a lot of stuff that we no longer have because it might have worked for them and didn't work for us. So if you can actually talk to someone who's truly doing the RV lifestyle, or, you know, if you go camping and talk to someone who's been doing it for 3 or 5 years, hey, what did you like? What do you dislike? What's the best thing to get started? The more you talk to people, the more you're going to learn.
Yeah.
People want to talk to you. You guys cool talking to people?
Yeah.
Help them out. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
What? You heard it here. They'll talk to you.
He's quite a social butterfly at the campgrounds. Yes, you are. Yes.
Well, people see RV tech, they want free advice.
Oh yeah, free advice. Like, hey, you know, you're on the clock.
Cut it off. Say, okay, the clock's running now.
What lot you? Well, yeah, what number you are? Yeah, I'm gonna put a bill on your window.
That does happen a lot as an RV tech. You'll get some that if they see that you're working on your rig, that I need to do this, and you got to learn. Okay, let me come look at it and let them know up front. This is my rates, and kind of take it from there.
You're pretty good about helping people. So I think for me, my biggest advice for people is just be prepared to be flexible and expect. I mean, you just know stuff's gonna break, and you just gotta be able to stay calm and roll with the punches.
And even if you're a planner, like she's a planner, she likes to plan out a year in advance, which is good. But also, if you got RV sites booked for a solid year and then you get a major breakdown, you got to start calling every RV site and changing reservations. So you got to be prepared to do stuff when things happen, roll the punches.
Yeah. So how do you guys, like, talking about planning out? Because I've heard people do like 3 days, which would be brutal. I could not do that. So how do you how do you go about planning? Because that'd be good advice to know. Because you do like the military vamp camp, or whatever it was called, or Passport America as well. What does your planning look like out when you plan out, I guess, into the future?
So for me, I do all my planning on RV Trip Wizard, just for anybody who's interested.
Awesome.
And I generally will start with holiday weekends. So like we figure out where we're going to go. So when we went out west, we were going to be in around Glacier around the 4th of July. So I was like, okay, it's a holiday weekend. It's a very, sought after area that people want to go visit. So I booked that as soon as possible. As soon as the campgrounds allowed for booking for that time frame, I was booking it. And then I just kind of build around that. I figure out where we need to go after that, where we need to be before that. We try to travel 300 miles or less a day. And we try not to, I don't think we've ever done more than 2 days in a row, right? To travel.
And generally, we like to stay weeks at a time. We don't like to do the 1 and 2 days at a time. We want minimum a week only if we're trying to get to another destination. But most of the time is 3 weeks to a month at a time.
Right. So like last summer, for instance, when we left New York visiting our son, he lives up around Buffalo. Our mission was to get all the way out to Yellowstone. So it was a lot of one week stops that we were making. It was I was so exhausted after that. I hated that. That was 4 weeks in a row that we were moving every week, and several 2-day drives, and I hated that. I like to get somewhere, be able to set up my house the way I want it and the way that it functions well, and leave it that way for a while. And then just have time to do things. Weather is not always going to cooperate. So if you've only booked 3 days somewhere and it rains the whole 3 days you're there, well, you either miss out on seeing what you went to see, or you're doing it in the rain. So if you give yourself some time, it helps with that. Plus, our bodies physically need time to relax. You can't just be going all the time. And in case you haven't noticed, RVs aren't meant to be driven 365 days out of the year. So it's a lot of wear and tear.
You save a lot of money because you're not putting as much wear and tear on your vehicles.
And diesel and campgrounds charge way more for one night than they charge for like a week or a month if you can stay a month somewhere. And we think that if you're visiting a national park like Yellowstone, Glacier, there's several that are very big, Yosemite, you need to plan at least 2 weeks in those areas, maybe 3.
Right.
I think we did 3 weeks in Glacier and it wasn't near enough. So now we got to go back out there. So, darn.
That was incredible advice. I guess I've never really asked that question properly. So thank you for answering it properly. Now I can kind of mold that out. But that makes sense to me. Like, there's as far as we know, we only get one shot at this life, right? So if you're going to go see something, might as well go see it and stay for a while. What's holding you there? Unless you have to be somewhere at one point in time, like you said. So you take your big events, plan those out first, and then plan everything else around it. So if you have something going on in Colorado, obviously you got to plan some time around that. And you got to go down, say, Arizona, plan some time around that. That was incredible advice. So thank you very much, Teresa, for that. That was awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. All right. So future plans, I'm guessing it's already planned out, but where are you heading next? So what's going on with that? And how do you see your RV life evolving in the future?
We don't really see a lot of changes right now. We're going to keep doing like we've been doing, trying to stay 3 weeks to a month at a time. We have no desire to settle down and go back to a house. We talked about possibly buying a lot at an RV site, RV campground somewhere. That way that can be our winter home. That could be a future plan, and rent it out when we're not there. We just don't know where that would be yet. We haven't found that sweet spot yet. So we kind of have an idea of the area of the country. We just don't know, haven't got a chance to really get out and shop for it.
Well, the area of the country that we would like for it to be is too far away from our kids. So
we're not going to Montana.
Unfortunately, we can't buy a lot in Montana or Idaho.
But plus, we want a lot that we can stay in the winter too. So that kind of limits us to
the
Midwest and South.
Yeah.
Well, now I've heard that there's these air skirts. Have you heard of air skirting yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I recently heard about them. That's pretty dang cool because that opens up some doors for a lot of people, because there's a lot of people who doesn't want to stay see a wintry Christmas, right? I understand that. It's not all like, we pray for it in Nebraska and half the time it doesn't snow there, but 3 days later we got 3 feet, So, but that really kind of opens the door for that. I want to get them on here. So if you know anybody, let me know.
Okay.
But so you guys plan maybe getting a lot. That'd be really cool. I'd love to grab some ground and make like 8 to 10 to 20 spots, because that would be incredible. If you had water and hookups, I mean, it'd pay for itself in no time. You know it would.
We've talked about that for the future as well.
Yeah.
We're still too new to the game to figure out where we want to keep traveling right now. We're not ready to settle down like that to have like a permanent spot just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. All it takes is money, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Send some this way.
Well, that dang thing, that money thing, necessary evil.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, for right now, it's just, we're going to keep traveling, and we'll see what we decide, you know, what the future holds. And we may find the perfect spot this year, or next year, I should say, or it could be 5 years from now. But we've definitely talked about a barndominium or a something that's big enough to, you know, park this in, plus have a little living area if we wanted to. So
it's just, if you have that, you got to have someone to maintain it when you're traveling 9 months out of the year. So that's the downside.
Right. Yeah. So you don't want to stop traveling. That's what it sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not yet.
It's hard to get best of both worlds. You can't have it all, Brian.
No.
Oh, shoot. All right. Well, since you've been on the road for 3 years, obviously you've had to have come across some things that you really like having, you really enjoy having, whether it be gadgets, gizmos, what else would it be, like add-ons to the RV. What are some of those things? I mean, do you have them in your RV store, your Amazon store, or is it stuff, you know, tools wise, even, Brian, for you? What are those things? And if you'd like to share what those are, that'd be sweet.
We do have all that, most of the gadgets and tools, things like that. It's all in the Amazon store. We have it broken down by RV setup, RV maintenance, RV safety, tools. Being an RV tech, obviously there's a lot of tools on there, and there's a lot of tools that are not on there because they're specialty tools. But gadget wise, I'm trying to think of a favorite. A Blackstone's a must in an RV as far as a gadget, having that.
That's a
thing you got to be careful with. Too many gadgets, because we are really cautious about our weight limit. Too many gadgets start to add too much weight, so then you got to get rid of something. So typically when we buy something, we got to get rid of something else to make room for it and for weight purposes.
Right. For me, I love having my clamshell outside. It gives you extra square footage outside. And, you know, especially when we're up in New York with visiting our son, we're right on the water. We're right on Lake Ontario. Right now, we're right off the Potomac. And then in Florida, of course, we're right off the ocean. So, you know, to be able to sit outside and really enjoy the outdoors, no matter what the weather, is nice. And that's what the clamshell gives us. And it's very nice to have that. It's not so fun in the wind when a tornado comes through Florida or whatever, but but I think for me, that's probably one of my favorite
there's a lot
gadgets that I wouldn't call it a gadget, but, you know, thing that we bought for the RV to have. Of course, he's got tons of favorites, all his tools, all the DeWalt.
Oh yeah, baby, DeWalt. Yeah, it's all you can have. It's all you can have. But oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. You'll be all right.
The lighting's changing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Dark outside.
Our lighting scheme is changing.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, guys, it's been awesome talking to you, but I have one more question for you. You might have already answered it. I didn't catch it, but the question is, what's your why? Why do you keep doing it? Why did you start? I mean, I kind of got the why you start, but like, why do you keep this up? Is it something that's because you became closer? Is it because you get to see everything? What is your why to be a full-timer?
Yeah, go ahead. Sounds like you
So, well, I mean, I think it's ours. So I am actually a stage 4 cancer survivor. And when I was, the last time I was in treatment, we just kind of, we started talking about actually buying land. We started talking about managing properties in Tennessee, like cabins and stuff like that. And then we started watching this show on the Travel Channel, Tiny Homes. I don't know if you ever watched that or remember that. It was, I don't even know if it's still on, and I personally, like he said, I had to talk him into this whole lifestyle. I got the bug. I don't know why, we got our little high-low, and we would go out on weekends, and I was like, I just really loved the peace and the quiet that we were getting while we were there. And so when we started realizing that our sons were in high school, getting ready to go off to college, we're like, okay, eventually we're going to be alone in this house. And I didn't want that. I wanted to see the country, and there was just so much I wanted to do. And just, that's my why. Just because, you don't know how long you have on this world, and you might as well do what you can do while you can do it. And I didn't want to wait till we were in our 60s and 70s and we physically couldn't do it. So, I mean, and I know he didn't want to be managing a house for, by himself. And we had a big house, and it was a lot of work. So it was just a chance to see the country, be able to enjoy it while we were young enough and healthy enough to do it.
And most of the people, we've run into a lot of people, and they've been in their 70s and 80s, and we talk to them, and their biggest regret is not starting the lifestyle sooner. Mm-hmm. They wish they would have started when they could. And some people can't afford it, we get it, but their regret was, you're not guaranteed tomorrow, so live life while you can.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Congratulations on kicking cancer's booty. Like, that's good. That's awesome. So good for you guys. But yeah, it's again, as far as we know, we only get one shot at this, and this country is absolutely fantastically gorgeous. I mean, we are I've been in 14, 15 countries, and I've seen some really cool stuff. I'm sure you guys have too, with the Air Force and all that, jumping around, traveling around the world. But yeah, this country has a lot to offer, and there's a lot of space that no one gets to see. There's a lot of people that don't even leave their hometowns, their home counties. Like I don't even know how they can think that. Like, why would you not want to? There's so much, I don't know what Miss Mountain is, but I'd like to go see it in real life.
That's what we've probably seen more of the country in the past 3 years than most people. I'd say 90% will see in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Like you said, they don't leave their home state.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I mean, the moment I made money, I left to Europe. I went to Europe for a month. I traveled. I went to 10 countries in 20 days. Like, I had to. I was like, I wanted to leave since I was a kid. Let me go. I loved where I grew up, but there's just so much cool things to see.
Well, we didn't mention this, but Brian spent 9 years working for the White House. His last 9 years in the Air Force, he was working for the White House, traveling with the president. So he got to travel to a lot of cool places that obviously I didn't get to go. So, that was kind of something too. I was like, it's my turn now to see really cool things. So
yeah,
so I'm really the one with the bucket list. He just drives where I tell him to go.
Yes, dear.
And pays for things.
Yeah. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. So, yeah, advice for beginners. Yes, dear. Step one. Yeah, I'm still good. I'm unhandcuffed, I guess. But that's awesome for you guys. It seems like you guys are really enjoying it. So, Brian, worked for the White House, got to travel with the president. You got to roll out on Air Force One.
Once I got to fly when I was leaving. I was on it several times, but only once when it was truly Air Force One with him flying on it.
Wow.
My last trip, I got to do that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it makes
I bet.
It hard to fly coach when you go back to flying coach.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you walk into a penthouse basically. It's not a normal airliner.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's super cool. Do you ever roll into Offutt by chance?
I've been in Offutt, yet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I used to go to air shows there all the time as a kid. My dad's a pilot by trade, so I got to go to all the air shows and stuff like that. But Offutt's pretty neat. I actually had a buddy that worked. I know this is off topic. Has nothing to do with RVs, but people are listening. So, my buddy actually worked. He's an electrician, but he actually got to go way I don't know how many floors under the Air Force base, under the Alpha Air Force Base. So under the whatever it is. He was like 30 stories underground or something like that. Yeah. Super creepy. He was in the room with the red phone, he said. He was like, very odd. Very odd.
I don't want to be there though.
Yeah.
Maybe
we shouldn't air that part.
Yeah. You might be giving away some secrets right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if I know it, then someone else knows it. So, but awesome, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting with you guys. It's so fun for me to not try and keep it low communication beforehand, because I get to meet randomly. I like the organic talk and everything. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we kind of sign off here?
I think we covered
a lot. So
awesome. Well, if there's nothing else to say, Brian and Teresa, they are RVillaAdventures. That's their last name. I found that out today. So guys, give them a follow. They do a wonderful job. They have a lot of fun out there. They've been building for a couple of years now, and TikTok just recently. Go give them a follow here as well, because they want more followers on TikTok. So give them a follow there. And if you have an Amazon store, check out their stuff, buy some products from them, because they get a kickback. So good for them, guys. And also, Brian is a mobile RV technician. So if you see him, go ask him, and he gets paid for this. So be prepared to have a bill on your window, if so facto. Questions. I'd say, guys, I don't give away information for free. That's how this is my livelihood. What was that? Sorry, one more time.
We'll do the first 15 minutes free. After that, you're on the clock.
Yeah, you're like, well, buddy, you crossed it 5 minutes ago. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And everyone listening, again, BishFix is our internal service platform. You can talk to a mobile RV, not mobile, sorry, mobile as in this. You'll talk to them and basically FaceTime through your problems. If not, they'll give you parts and warranty and get that all done, and you have a whole list of findings. If you have any more questions on there, click that. Go to bishfix.com, or you can talk to Brian. You can give him a holler as well. But anyway, that being said, guys, thank you again, Brian and Teresa, so much. I had so much fun talking to you guys, and everybody listening, give them a follow and stay tuned for more from the RV Voice.